Shall we play a game?
We got one person online. The workload is enough for like 10 users. I think we got a hacker.
Shall we play a game?
Good morning. It is June the 18th. It is 09:19. I'm late this morning. But the reason I'm late, I've been playing with the APT34 tools that was dumped pretty much last month, or April, really, mid-April, end of April. Been just sitting there, just playing with some of the rats. You know, I always look at this, and when I talk about rats, for those that you don't know, like a rat is a remote admin tool. It has a server and client, if you know what I mean. So it has a client that you deliver onto the desktop. Sometimes they're called servers. Don't get it around. But there is a symbiotic relationship between this client and server. But the idea is that you place this agent on a desktop. You know, sort of, you've seen the military call it implants. You put an implant on the desktop, and it makes this call back, and you could control that machine now via the actual command and control server that the attacker controls. And the idea is that you can have like thousands of machines under your control, or tens of thousands of your machines under your control, and you can issue commands to tens of thousands of machines. And there's tons of remote admin tools. If you look at, we as a pen tester, we use remote admin tools. We use Meterpreter, Metasploit. That's a remote admin tool. A little bit more. It does it does exploitation as well. We use Empire. We use Cobalt Strike. These are rats. So threat emulation or actual threat tools, are used by pen testers to mimic or actually to test the defense in depth of systems, because you want to see if your IPS, IDS, AV, all those kind of things, detect it. They look for process execution and all kinds of different areas. But the main part of it there is that obviously we're trying to gain access to a desktop, and usually it's by phishing, and then we put that implant on the system, and then we control it via our evil controller. Well, APT34 was the Iranian hacker group. I think it was it's attributed to the Iranian hacker group, and someone sort of got a hold of all their tools, sort of very similar to like the Shadow Broker stuff, and dumped them online. Interestingly, think about it. It seems like it's almost like spy versus spy. I got a feeling that sometimes they're just dumping things out there, and other guys are then dumping things out there as well, and then our spies are dumping their spies' tools out there. The problem is it does make sort of attribution slightly harder. So sometimes I always think maybe they do it deliberately. They put the tools out there because now attribution, I can't really say, okay, these are the guys that use this tool. This is their fingerprint, because now everybody's got the tool. And so everybody can use that tool. So it's very hard then to attribute it to a particular APT. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. So I've been playing with that and getting that running. It's, a couple of things that needed to be fixed, etc. But, rats, and that's why rats are very important in Red Spy, because that's how we want to get access to the desktop. As I said, there's like 3 types of tools. You've got the rats, you've got the ransomware, and you've got crypto mining. Those are sort of predominantly ones that you see. And each one can be sort of switched over to be the other one. So, maybe from a rat, I might switch over to ransomware, or load a ransomware module. Or, so just bear in mind that, rats, remote admin tools, very important in the bad guys. And that's, this is why, AV that relies purely upon signatures is very hard. It's great because you've got to know what patient 0 is doing. As long as you're not patient 0 and the AV can find a signature on it, then everything's good. But if you are patient 0, then it's a bit of a problem. So what's going on in the news? It's one of those quiet days. I mean, I'm working on a lot of stuff. We're working on a lot of stuff to do with Red Spy. I'm updating some of the VMs, internal VMs for the internal testing, because we were sitting on 16.04. We're now going to be moving to 18.04. And I've got a lot of upgrades. I've got that finished, so I'm ready to sort of push that part out. And, it's like anything. We've got to update ourselves, make ourselves better. So not a great deal that is going on in the community. I'm not even going to mention the news about what was going on at Black Hat. Yes, I just think everybody's had so much of anything. anything to do with politics. I'm just sick of. I know, just switch it off. Just bored of the whole thing. So, obviously, we've seen someone release the Grand Crab, a ransomware decryption tool. So if you have got infected with Grand Crab, then you can actually recover your files for free. So that's kind of handy, isn't it? People looking for tools to be able to do things. And there was a critical flaw that was reported in Evernote extension for Chrome users. Other than that, it's been relatively quiet. So from my perspective, everything's running as is. We're still on target. Everything's going nice. The great big thunderstorms that happened yesterday did not get me. So listen to the podcast, listen to my ramblings, and that was your morning brief.
Shall we play a game?
We got one person online. The workload is enough for like 10 users. I think we got a hacker.
Shall we play a game?